Oh my gosh. It's television land. I love it. Look, this is all beautiful. Let me have a look. You've turned a basement into Hollywood. This is just incredible. It'll work. I met Dr. Greg over 20 years ago, and I met him through a mutual friend named Herb Chow. Herb introduced me to his son Brian, who introduced me to Greg. And when I met Greg, he was telling me how he was extremely concerned with the amount of dental patients, pediatric kids, who were obese. And I said to him at the time, Greg, half the world is starving. How are you going to get anybody to worry about children who've eaten too much? And he said, and there is the problem. Childhood obesity is a whole lot of problems wrapped into one. It's children who are left alone too long. It's children whose self-esteem is low. It's children who have not had the guidance and the direction about nutrition, and he planned on doing something about it. How do you get children's attention in a world of rapidly moving graphics and games and digital fun? How can we get nutrition blended into the flow of their lives? How do you get them to care what they're putting into their bodies and how it could have an impact in their future? And there was a whole universe of characters. The way they looked, the way they spoke, how they behaved, how they fought, good versus evil, bad nutrition versus good food, that were all dreamed up and invented by Greg and his friends, some of them in New York.
I was writing for Sesame Street, Nickelodeon, other children's shows, and they said, man, we know this guy Greg, and he wants to do something with characters, and he's got this concept, super chef characters, and I was like, sure, that's my thing. And so, I met with Greg here, and then, up in Vancouver, we talked and really created this great sort of deck, pitch deck with the characters. And then,
And you taught me about how to teach kids. Don't teach kids first. What do you do first?
Sesame Street was like you entertain them. You bring them in, you engage them, you have fun with them. And then, if there's a message that you want to put in, sort of educational content, whether it's, healthy content, learning, pro-social behavior, things like that, you put it into the narrative, you marry it into the narrative. But a good story, good characters is really what it's all about when you're dealing with kids. And, Greg had some great characters, and so we were off and running, and that's how Superchefs got going. And here we are, some 10 plus years?
15 years later?
No.
We pitched it, and I myself did as well, at every possible level. And it's important that you understand we put our heart and souls into this, and nobody bit. Nobody wanted to take it and run with it. We needed people who had the ability to build on this dream of teaching kids. And Greg had in his mind that he'd love to do summer camps, and he'd love to have basketball, exercise, the whole complement of things that make you feel good. And eating would be part of it. So I trotted over to the Weston Bayshore. I live right next door. And I knocked on the door of Jean-Luc Baron, who was the general manager. He had no idea why I was there. Never heard of me, never heard of Greg. Well, within 10 minutes, he had signed on, not only to get involved, but he said, if you do a summer camp and you bring children there, I personally will come out and I will instruct. And by the way, I have daughters.
If you've ever had the opportunity to work with kids like I have and working in the kitchen, I started with my own kids after I was lucky enough to get it imparted by my grandmother. And they get right into it, Michael. You would not believe what they do with that food. They poke, they touch. Earlier you were with us in the kitchen. We played with some fish, whole fish, and they couldn't get enough of feeling it and figuring it out and the texture and the smell and everything else. So they get right into it. It's just a matter of giving them and providing that opportunity along with a little bit of the knowledge, and then they'll get the rest, by themselves.
Greg got all of his basketball friends from his sons and daughters' friends. They would do the basketball. He got the BC Lions involved. He brought a woman out who had written cookbooks, and she was going to do nutrition. At one time, I was very involved with Britannia High School, which is in the East End. And it's a school that there's a lot of indigenous people there, a lot of poverty there. It's a real mixture of community. I picked up the phone. I said, can you set me in motion to grab some kids? All of a sudden, we had 2 busloads of children. Many of them had never been beyond the Port Mann Bridge. And we met and became inspired by the children that came along on that very first run.
I've been in the Superchefs program for about 5 years now. I started when I was 11. When I started Superchefs, I was quite obese at the time. I was about 140 pounds, and I knew nothing about cooking. And when I started Superchefs, they started teaching me about superfoods and healthy options in life. They taught me how to cook, and I started to incorporate that into my lifestyle. And I actually was able to lose 40 pounds.
Not only did he recruit me, but he got some power players.
And I met Jill at International Association for Culinary Professionals.
Yep, that's
Jill,
right.
you were heading the Kids in the Kitchen group.
And it was a great opportunity for me to learn about how Superchefs was founded, but also see just how important it was to make sure the kids have fun. We're teaching them life skills and these ideas about eating well and taking care of their bodies and making sure that not only are they conscious about what goes in their body, but how their choices also affect the environment. It needs to be fun. It needs to be something that they can adapt from age to age and as they grow up, and also invite their friends to be part of. And this concept behind Superchefs and getting kids to really learn about important concepts through cooking, there couldn't be any better way.
Drawing in the community, Dr. Greg and the Superchefs have had enormous support from Surrey Councillor Linda Annis, a remarkable woman who's seen the vision right from the start and been willing to help and speak up.
I first met Dr. Greg when I became a city councillor for the city of Surrey and also a director for Surrey Cares Foundation, and I was in absolute admiration of the great work that he's doing in the community. And I think the idea of youth mentoring youth and helping them learn how to cook in a very, very healthy way is absolutely vital. I wish that opportunity was available when I was growing up. I want to see Superchefs expanded in the community. It's the best thing that we can do for the youth in Surrey.
She fought for Superchefs, as well as Ken Hardy. He's the MP for Fleetwood Port Kills. Ken has been what you would call a stalwart. He is a man who has taken the Superchefs message to the highest levels. And as you know, in the political world, if you're asking for favors, you just get one. And using his favor for Superchefs tells you the kind of guy Ken Hardy is. So those people have to be thanked. They have to be honored. They're doing it out of their heart. You'll find many of the board of directors have all been very active at various points in the building of the Superchefs. They're the people who keep it true to its original intent. Dr. Grasmuck was there at the beginning. There was the Cirque Kid founder who did circus out at the P&E. He'd have the kids doing circus in the very early days at the Zajac Ranch. Victor Bongo, who has made remarkable strides for cooking his way. People love Victor.
B-O-N-G-O, 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 and Bongo was his name.
I met Dr. Craig a long time ago through a friend of mine that is Chef Bongo. I had a good impression is this guy that is so excited and passionate about food and about teach to the kids how to make healthy choice in life and in food. So I had the pleasure to work with him the UBC, were me, Chef Craig, and Bongo, and we make some delicious food for kids in that occasion, and was fantastic.
Not only is he a champion pizza maker, he's a champion human being. Vanessa Lee has reached legendary status among the campers and the counselors who have worked with her. Very few people are able to instruct with the kind of velvet hand that she has. She has children hanging off of her every word, and then they see what she's doing and they see the love she puts into the food. A much beloved super chef. And that fellow Jean-Luc Baron from the Westin, He eventually moved into a higher position, and we visited him in Connecticut with the Weston people. And they decided they would put the Superchefs menu for children on every menu in the world. You go to a Western restaurant, there we are.
My name is Camille Oosterwegel, owner and managing director of Oosterwegel Collection. Back in 2014, I worked on the Weston Global Brand Team and I helped develop and launch the Weston Eat Well menu for kids in collaboration with Superchefs. I think it was a fantastic program to help parents have their kids eat healthy while they're traveling.
When I think about all of the amazing experiences we have together, I think one of my proudest moments was being on vacation with my kids who were young at the time and ordered off of the Kids Eat Well menu at a Weston hotel. And I think back to that project and just how we grew it from kind of homegrown to worldwide, and just being part of that menu development and now seeing those menus in hotels around the world is truly something I'm was proud to be a part of.
I'm Bill Yossis. I'm the pastry chef at Blue Hill Restaurant at the Stone Barn Center for Food and Agriculture. I met Greg years ago at an event sponsored by the White House related to kids' health and food, and been a friend ever since. I love the program, great content, great tone, great attitude, very positive, and wonderful success in schools around the world.
I love being involved with Superchefs because of the Indigenous program. And when Greg Chang approached me, the founder of Superchefs, thought it was an ideal program to reach out to the young generations, particularly in the Aboriginal community where there's a high diabetes, also obesity, and trying to bring the Aboriginal kids back to their traditional diets.
Everything we eat for our nutrition was once alive, comes from the earth. And I think cooking and food are a very powerful way to reconnect with our roots to the natural world. So I think the Superchefs idea is a wonderful idea, especially when we begin to get a lot of urban kids who are really disconnected from the environment. I applaud what's going on with Superchefs. I hope that it just spreads all across the world.
Many of the young people who come in as volunteers in the summer for the summer camps, Superchefs, they really go on to quite amazing careers. They become teachers, they become doctors, they become nutritionists, and within those careers, they take that Superchefs message.
My name is Sky. I'm currently studying to be a registered dietitian at UBC, and this is my 4th summer at Superchefs.
I'm Ryan Chang. I've been with Superchefs for 14 years.
My name is Norbert Banyi, and I'm studying medicine at UBC. And I've been at Superchefs since I was in grade 10, which is now about 6 years ago.
I was in my 2nd year of university, and I wanted to use the knowledge that I was learning in school about nutrition and apply it in the workplace.
I did a culinary arts class with Chef Vanessa Lee when I was in grade 9 and 10. And then she recommended that I join Superchefs because she was friends with Dr. Greg. The first year I started volunteering, but I knew that eventually I would be able to work there. And I was hoping to be able to apply my culinary arts skills that I learned with her.
It was really partially my family. Obviously, my dad being a Dr. Greg, I saw it from a very young age, and it is something that has really stuck with me.
So when I actually got into Superchefs, I got out a lot more than I expected to. I went in thinking that I'd just have like a fun little summer where I got to teach kids how to cook, but not only did I have fun, I made a lot of friends and a lot of colleagues who I'm friends with outside of work, and it's just a whole community of people at Superchefs.
Not only have I been able to apply what I've learned in school in an actual real setting with children, but I've also been able to learn so many other skills in terms of leadership, strong communication, being able to delegate tasks.
14 years later, I am still here, and this is actually the job that showed me what I should be doing for my career.
The thing I find most fulfilling about working at Superchefs is being part of a core memory of these kids. Some kids come back a few years later and say that this is the highlight of their summer. And I know just from my experience, the highlights of my summers carried forward all the way until now. And it's something that I remember my childhood by.
When I think back to when I was a kid, I grew up with learning disability, and I found that adults didn't really understand what that meant. It really made me feel less significant. It really made me feel like I wasn't able to fit in with anyone. And I think that's one place where Superchefs really helps certain kids out. For some of these kids, this could be the only week that they have a really fun activity in the summer. And being able to make sure that they are having the most fun as possible while also learning a lot of these useful life skills, it's something that you will not find anywhere else.
So I think the thing that I learned at Superchefs that I'm gonna be able to bring into my career is being able to be proactive. One major thing that I was involved with was piloting science lessons at Superchefs using food to teach kids about science. And it's the first time I ever did an initiative myself.
There's a very specific way that they teach in schools right now, and it makes things very difficult for kids with learning disabilities. So I really hope to create my own business in the future where I can use both my teaching degree, my finance degree, and all of my knowledge from working with kids and Superchefs to create an absolutely wonderful program where everyone can feel very much included and everyone can feel a great sense of accomplishment.
I also got a great mentor, Dr. Greg, who seems to know everybody, and he was instrumental in getting me to be able to do the science lessons and just taught me so much about that process.
Dr. Greg is probably one of the most amazing people I've ever met. He is constantly wanting all of us to succeed. He's always trying to connect us with other people that he knows in the community to help push our careers forward. And so, yeah, I really want to just give a huge shout out to Dr. Greg for making this job such an amazing experience for all of us.
Across Canada, empty streets, closed businesses amidst a deepening lockdown.
Although it is unfortunate that many did not survive the pandemic, not only physically with losing millions of people, but businesses, in fact, every part of the earth was affected by the pandemic. And I'm extremely proud to say that Superchefs found a way to adapt when they could no longer do the camps, be with the kids, hands-on. They found a way to adapt so that they could survive. And they did it online. They brought all the love, all the optimism, all the fun, all the teaching. They brought everything that they had in their entire history to an online presence so that no child was left out. And now with HelloFresh, they've taken up the national perspective, so kids right across Canada can now become Superchefs. They can now have food that will be a part of their nutritional education. Can you imagine getting to share the Superchefs opportunity with clients, family, associates, and helping it grow?
My favorite Superchefs recipe was definitely making the veggie frittatas because my family really enjoyed it and it helped me improve my cutting skills by using the knife.
I don't think there's any secret that Greg wants a television show. It began 50 years ago when we were doing the cartoon show, but now it's real. Now there is an actual pilot.
My name's Malibu Tates, and I was the director of the Superchefs pilot Fish on Ice. When I first met Dr. Greg, it was over Zoom. I was prepared to sort of pitch myself and show here, I know what I'm doing here and hopefully get the job. But instead what it was is he just told me everything about Superchefs. He told me about like his history as a clown and going all the way up to where it's gone and just the passion and the vision behind everything that we were doing. And that was the whole meeting. It was just so uplifting and so exciting. All that passion and that, I think that formed the core of the whole project. And of course we had so much material to build on. Like before the pilot, there was already content made with Dr. Greg and Scotia teaching different recipes and everything, and Isaiah had directed those ones.
I sent in an audition tape. I saw a listing on one of the audition sites that I usually look at, and the first thing was make a video of you making a sandwich and make it instructional and fun. So I kind of included puppets in my self-tape, and I guess they picked me and they liked it. And then I did a web series with Superchefs for the virtual camps because they weren't in person. And then the pilot kind of came along and I got to film that over the summer.
When he first told me about it, I'm like, what is this? How are you going to incorporate all these things into one product. Like there was animation in it, there was songs in it, there was a music video, we were gonna have this Olympic figure skater rapping in it. It was like, it sounded like so much fun and so exciting to do.
It was just a wonderful team to be around. Every day on set was always a blast. And meeting Patrick Chan, it was an awesome team.
I spend a lot of time working in the film industry here in Vancouver. A lot of it's service shows from like Netflix and stuff like that, and it felt really good to be working for something that had such a strong purpose of doing good in the world. I couldn't be more proud of the final project, and proud I could be a part of it.
The Superchefs cookery team, the pilot, unbelievable. What a great job, team. I'm so happy, so proud. It really is amazing. Congratulations to all, writers, directors, to Dr. Greg, to Nicole, to the whole fabulous team that put it together. The casting, the actors, thumbs up. The rap, I love it. I wish I was in it. I wish I was dancing in it. Congratulations to all, and I look for more Superchefs. We're gonna have more episodes. I know it, I can feel it.
Superchefs supports dreamers, and we're all dreamers. And I'm hoping that someone will take that torch and take Superchefs to its next level. And I'm sure they will, because there's enough evidence here that even with this dentist in Surrey who convinced many famous and powerful people to support his dream of making the world a better place through nutrition for children, there are other dreamers out there.
I'm happy to be joining you today via this video, thanking you for all your contributions to childhood welfare and diet. So continue the good work, and very happy to be greeting you today.
Hey Greg from Lanzarote, Canary Islands. I just want to give a huge shout out to Superchefs, 15 years. Wow, it's grown up a lot, and so have I, and it's really impressive to see how far we've come, and I can't wait to see what the next 15 brings. Have fun!
Just sending happiest thoughts to you all. Keep up the good work and keep changing lives.
I want to wish Greg and the Superchefs team a happy 15th anniversary and keep up the good work.
Happy 15th anniversary to Superchef.
This is not a finish line. This is the start of something big for the future.
Please, please, please keep doing what you're doing, because it means so much. And yeah, happy birthday, Superchefs. Congratulations.
We've touched a lot of kids over the years, and seems like a lifetime ago that Greg Chang walked into my hotel at the time in Vancouver, and I thought this guy was crazy when he started telling me what we were going to do and what we've accomplished. All those kids that we've been able to help, there's more to come, so stay tuned for more, but happy anniversary, Superchef.